Peppa Pig and the Great Muddy Puddle Treasure Hunt. Story. One sunny morning, Peppa Pig and her little brother George were jumping around in their favorite muddy puddles. Suddenly, Daddy Pig walked over with a big grin and something very interesting in his hand. It was a map, and it looked old and mysterious. "What's that, Daddy?" Peppa asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. "This," Daddy Pig announced dramatically, "is a treasure map. And it leads to a great muddy treasure." Peppa and George squealed with excitement. They had never been on a real treasure hunt before. "Let's go find the treasure," Peppa said, bouncing up and down. Daddy Pig handed Peppa the map, and she studied it carefully. There were all kinds of funny drawings, trees with squiggles, rocks with funny faces, and big X marks. The first clue says, "Go to the tree that looks like a giraffe," Peppa read aloud. Peppa and George ran around the yard, looking for the giraffe-shaped tree. After a few minutes, they found it. Daddy Pig chuckled, pointing to the tree's branches, which stretched high and wobbly like a giraffe's neck. "There it is!" George shouted, pointing. Peppa giggled. "It's the giraffe tree. Now, what's next?" The next clue says, "Take 10 piggy steps to the left and look for the big rock with a silly face." Daddy Pig read, trying not to laugh. Peppa and George marched to the left, counting their steps, 1, 2, 3, until they found a huge rock with an actual face painted on it. Someone had drawn a funny smile and big round eyes on the rock. Peppa and George burst out laughing. Peppa checked the map again. "Now we need to go to the Great Muddy Hill and slide down it," she announced. Everyone knew that the Great Muddy Hill was the biggest, squishiest hill around, and it was perfect for sliding. Peppa and George ran to the top, holding hands, and then slid all the way down, making the biggest splash in a gigantic puddle at the bottom. Mummy Pig, who was watching nearby, got splashed too, and she let out a laugh, wiping muddy water off her face. "Now we're getting closer," Peppa said with excitement. The map says the treasure is hiding under the big X on the ground. They searched around and found a large X made out of sticks. Peppa and George grabbed little toy shovels and dug under the X, their eyes wide with anticipation. After a few minutes of digging, George hit something hard. "I found it," he squealed. Peppa and George pulled out a mysterious, muddy treasure chest. They opened it together, and inside were the funniest and yummiest things they'd ever seen: golden chocolate coins, gummy worms, and a sparkly crown. The crown even had a little plastic piggy nose on it. Peppa put on the crown, looking very pleased. "Now I'm Queen Peppa of the Muddy Puddles," she announced. George tried on the piggy nose and looked so funny that everyone burst into laughter. Daddy Pig laughed. This was the best treasure hunt ever. He took a golden chocolate coin and gave one to Mummy Pig too. They all sat in the muddy puddle, eating their chocolate coins and giggling at each other. At the end of the day, as the sun began to set, Peppa looked at her family, covered in mud and chocolate, and said, "This was the most fun adventure ever." And with that, the family headed back home, already dreaming about their next great, silly, muddy adventure. The end. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please remember to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Your support inspires me to create more amazing videos in the future, and it truly means the world to me. Together, we can explore even more adventures and stories. I appreciate you being part of my journey.